This is the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for Sunday, the 1st of December. I'm Michael Groff. Welcome to the start of meteorological winter. These are the 3 coolest months of the year for at least most of North America, Phoenix included, statistically speaking. And while many parts of the country will feel at least something like winter through this forecast period, here in Phoenix, not so much. In fact, temperatures above average, maybe even flirting with records at times. And it kind of goes without saying, we don't really have any meaningful chances of precipitation, at least not for a while. And we're going to get into all of that and everything else in just a moment. But before we do, let's geek out a little bit and dive into some numbers, do a deep dive into some climate stuff here. We just wrapped up the month of November. The climate stats are in. And November 2024 in Phoenix goes down as the 30th warmest on record with a mean temperature of 64.1 degrees, which actually is 1 degree below the average. And you might say, well, wait, how is it among the warmest and yet it was below average? Well, that's because average temperatures have been increasing rather rapidly in recent decades here in Phoenix. Of the warmest Novembers on record, 19 of them have occurred in the last 30 years. And that's why, even though the mean temperature is below average, we'll look at what average has been recently. And that's why. And to quote Thomas Andrews from Titanic, it is a mathematical certainty at this point that Phoenix will have its warmest year on record. Why do I say that? Well, through the first 11 months of the year, the mean temperature is 80 degrees. And that means that pretty much no matter what happens in the month of December, we will go down as having the warmest year on record. It's just a matter of by how much. Now, okay, technically, I guess we could avoid that. And the way to do that is to have a mean temperature for December under 47.3 degrees. What's the chance of that happening? Well, historically speaking in Phoenix, that has occurred twice in 1911 and 1916. But given ensemble model output over at least the first half of the month, that doesn't look like it's going to happen. Even taking the coolest possible solution on these ensemble guidance products, it still won't happen. So get ready for it. You heard it here first. 2024 will be the warmest year on record here in Phoenix. All right. Well, sorry to be the bearer of bad news. I've been doing that for about 6 months now on these videos. That's unfortunate, but I'm just talking about math here. I know it's Sunday morning. We're geeking out on math. Why are we doing this? Why am I not in bed? All right. Anyway, tough questions. Let's get to the climate stats from yesterday. Yeah, we concluded November on a warm note too. 79 degrees the afternoon high, 54 the morning low, 70 and 46 are the averages. So obviously we were above those. Outside now here after 6 a.m. A few clouds this morning, 54 degrees at Sky Harbor, dew points at 26, humidity 35%, a calm wind, the barometer rising. Temperatures out there this morning, 40 is the cool spot over there at Goldfield, 42 Fort McDowell, 44 Chandler. I see a 45 in Tempe, 47 in Scottsdale, 49 Arcadia, 48 in Goodyear. So we've got some 40s on the board, but of course in the urban core, low and middle 50s. Satellite picture out here across the west. And it's the same old story, a blocking pattern. You've got a ridge. Underneath it, out there in the East Pacific, there's this little upper low. And so we do have these periods of high clouds that move across the area from time to time. We've been seeing those for the last several days. Again, today, a few clouds will move across our region, but still shouldn't slow down the warmth. The watch warning map, as mentioned, there are parts of the country that do, in fact, feel more like winter. You got those freeze warnings all the way down to the Gulf Coast. Mobile, Alabama, Biloxi, Mississippi, Pensacola, Florida. Freeze warnings. And you might say, well, why aren't there freeze warnings north of there? Well, that's because those National Weather Service offices no longer issue them because those areas have already had a freeze. So it'd be kind of redundant to do that. The growing season has ended in those areas. Elsewhere, we've got some winter weather advisories over parts of the Northeast, some lake effect snow going on, of course. It is December, so that's just part of the territory there. And you've got a big ridge out here in the west. Well, that usually results in those air stagnation issues over parts, those valleys of eastern Oregon and southern Idaho, including the Treasure Valley. Boise. And you get some freezing fog stuck in some of those areas as well. That's definitely nasty to drive on, so be careful in those regions. All right, convective outlook for today with most of the nation in cool, stable air. Guess what? No organized severe weather. In fact, not even so much as a single rumble of thunder to be heard over the lower 48. The tropics, well, hurricane season ended yesterday, November the 30th, and we don't see any signs of any rogue tropical cyclones popping up over the next 7 days in the Atlantic, Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico, or East Pacific. So really no need to show you these graphics anymore through, well, probably until June, hopefully. Maybe later than that. All right, precipitation outlook valid through Sunday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix, nothing. Statewide, okay, we might get a light shower somewhere over the southeastern corner of the state, but even that is suspect because this pattern really doesn't favor any meaningful chances of rain. And we'll show you why that is right now as we dive into those models. Here we go, the GFS, the 06Z run valid at 2 o'clock this afternoon. And you talk about a persistent pattern. Weather guys love this. They know what to expect anyway. Trough in the east, ridge in the west, little low pinned underneath that ridge. This is the old classic Rex block, and it's not going to change much for the next 7 to 10 days. I'll tell you that. But like taking a look at it down at the surface for what it means for us for the rest of the day today, mostly sunny. Yeah, a few high clouds at times. High temperatures, I'd say between 76 to 80. Pretty much what we've been experiencing. And for tonight, mostly clear sky, overnight lows. How about mid-40s to mid-50s? Tomorrow, carbon copy, mid to upper 70s, mostly sunny. Sunny sky on Tuesday, mid to upper 70s. Wednesday, mid to upper 70s, sunny sky. Thursday, yes, this upper low that's over the East Pacific kind of gets smushed and moves eastward toward the Baja, maybe northern Mexico. We see this ridge kind of shifting a little further east, and there are a few models in the ensemble suite that try to really develop this low and spin it around south of us and try to even advect moisture into the southwest. Probability of that is very low. We're not even going to concern ourselves with that. For the most part, we just expect temperatures to remain in the mid to upper 70s with mostly sunny sky, a few high clouds at times, and that's going to be it. Same thing Friday. Mid to upper 70s. The sky is sunny. The air is pretty dry around here. Some breezes at times, maybe. Saturday, highs upper 70s and low 80s. And we could be flirting with some records out here at this point. Because this ridge is now firmly in control. That upper low is just out of the mix. Maybe another one develops well off the Baja coast or well out there over the East Pacific, but nowhere even close enough to influence our weather in any meaningful way. So let's keep going. This is a week from today. The greatest day on the calendar, Sunday, the 8th of December. 588 ridge out there. Again, trough in the east, ridge in the west. Do you see this little upper low that's out there over the, well, kind of undercutting that ridge? And we could see that move into the Pacific Northwest at some point, but for us, it means nothing. This ridge is just sitting out here. It is persistent. It is dominant. To quote a great philosopher of our time, it's dumb and annoying. And it's not going anywhere. Let's go out 10 days. This is Tuesday, the 10th of December. And guess what? Still have a big upper low spinning over the southeast U.S. If that verifies, cool and unsettled weather down there. We are still under the influence of this ridge, albeit it is backing off a little bit more toward the northeast Pacific, but the heights remain above average here, a dry northwesterly flow. GFS, as mentioned, shows this little short wave undercutting the ridge, moving into parts of Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. And maybe in that setup, it would drop due south here into the southwest U.S. But even if it did that, even if that happens, and that is a possibility, that would be what we sometimes call an inside slider type system, like a clipper type system. It would have no moisture, and all it would serve to do is maybe cool us off a bit and give some breezy conditions, but no chance of precipitation. All right, looking at rainfall for Phoenix. This goes out through the 15th of the month, and it's off the GFS ensemble. Yeah, it's a stuck record. Nothing, basically. European ensemble, same thing. No real meaningful chance of rain. The ensemble mean is well under 1/10 of an inch. This is This is kind of ensemble output we'd expect to see maybe in the month of May. But here it is. It's December. Today, by the way, is 101 days now since we've had measurable rain in Phoenix. And if we take this at face value, we can stretch that out to at least 115 days. Temperatures off the national blend of models, way above average. Now, typically, our highs are in the 60s this time of year. We'll be in the upper 70s and maybe low 80s on most days, trending down a little bit as we get out there toward the end of next weekend and that following week. But even at that, temperatures will still remain above average. And that's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here tomorrow morning. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, then be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you really like what we do here, then click that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube and make those monetary contributions to us. Or you can donate directly via PayPal. groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. It's groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal. The executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion and person with a lot more common sense because she's probably still sleeping, my one and only, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and that Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona. Talking about my Michelle. Check her out. Check out everything Michelle related and tangentially Adriana related by checking out her links down in the description. Or, of course, you can check out our streaming station. It's called KMGX. We play a ton of music. We have a lot of fun with that. Again, linked up in the description, or you can just go to kmgx.com and listen to it directly via that avenue. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching, all of your continued support. It is so greatly appreciated. Please be safe. And you guys have yourselves a beautiful rest of your Sunday.